Paris is often imagined as a city of romance, art, and luxury, yet to view Paris only through these symbols is to overlook its most important quality. Paris is a living city. Like any organism, Paris grows, ages, adapts, and remains vulnerable to diseases that threaten its internal balance. Its life is sustained through its citizens, the heart, and when that heart is disrupted, the entire body of the city suffers. Throughout its history, Paris has faced many diseases. The ideological infection of World War II and the moral compromises of the occupation, the fever of post war consumerism that reshaped social identity, and the revolutionary contagion of May 1968 that pulsed through its streets. Through the works of Albert Camus, Annie Ernaux, and Angelo Quattrocchi, we see how these social and political pathogens infiltrate not only the city's structures, but also its memory, identity, and daily rhythms. Together, their perspectives reveal that Paris is not a static emblem, but a living organism, one continually challenged, continually adapting, and continually striving to heal. In Albert Camus' The Plague, the idea of ideology as a contagion opens the door to understanding historical events as forms of moral disease. Early in the novel, Dr. Yu challenges the leaders of Iran for fearing the wrong thing. They worry about causing panic and damaging the city's image rather than recognizing the real danger, allowing the disease to spread unchecked. Ryu tells them, it's not about painting a dark picture, it's about taking precautions. This warning jolts the authorities into action, prompting them to respond at last. Yet their initial hesitation still gives the plague time to spread quietly, almost unnoticeably, before it eventually overwhelms Oran and exposes the city's deep vulnerabilities. This slow, subtle infiltration mirrors how fascist ideology crept into France, through propaganda, fear, and the gradual normalization of suffering. The citizens of Iran cope by distancing themselves, convincing themselves that there are always others more imprisoned than I am. This psychological self preservation reflects the same moral evasions that allowed complicity to flourish under occupation. Just as the plague isolates its victims and reshapes social bonds, authoritarian ideology fractures communities, turning fear and passivity into a moral contagion. In this way, Camus transforms the epidemic into an allegory of occupation, showing how ideologies spread like pathogens, infecting bodies, conscience, and the ethical fabric of an entire city. As Camus exposes the violent ideological contagion that threatens a city's moral core, Annie Ernaux in the years reveals consumerism as a different kind of social disease, one that takes root especially in Paris, where shifting styles, technologies, and social expectations spread rapidly through urban life. Throughout her memoir, Ernaux shows how post-war France, and Paris in particular, becomes increasingly absorbed by the pursuit of objects, trends, and technological novelty. What begins as a sign of progress gradually evolves into a compulsive need to consume, a sort of fever for the newest and flashiest items, from modern appliances to fashionable clothing, instead of the coercive infection of authoritarianism, which instills fear and isolates the citizens. A new illness brews in the streets of Paris, one that is not of necessity, but of performance, an obsession with appearances and modernity. Advertisements, brand names, and the expanding presence of fake stores operate like pathogens, subtly altering values and expectations as they circulate through the population. Erna writes, while we did our homework at the kitchen table, the ads on Radio Luxembourg brought certainty of future joy, and all around us we felt the presence of absent things we'd be allowed to buy later. A young Ernaux thought of what she did not have, of what the future now could one day have, dreaming of future consumption of these items. This moment captures the deep influence of consumer culture on a generation that had recently lived through wartime rationing and scarcity. For Parisians, the shift is especially dramatic. After years of deprivation, the city plunges into a world of abundance, where identity becomes tied to what one owns, wears, and displays. No longer preoccupied with survival, citizens can focus on the superficial, the performative aspects of consumption, the pressure to match the city's pace of innovation, and the desire to keep up with the times, as Ernaux writes. In this way, the years reveals how Paris becomes both the incubator and the showcase of France's post-war consumerist fever, a city shaped and infected by the constant demand to renew, replace, and desire more. As Ernaux reveals the fever of consumerism that reshapes Parisian life, Angelo Quattrocchi captures a different kind of contagion, the explosive revolutionary force of May 1968. In the beginning of the end, Quattrocchi shows that the energy and courage of the young spread through the city like a viral force, inspiring older generations and transforming the social body. One banner proclaimed, "The strong hands of the workers must now take the torch from the fragile hands of the students," illustrating how students' actions sparked wider participation. Another slogan, "Action destroys faction," emphasizes how collective momentum can overcome division, spreading rapidly through the streets. Quattrocchi also notes that the French leaders viewed the strikes as a passing disease. Strikes are admitted, strikes are permissible, passing illnesses, a few degrees of temperature, local disturbances. To them, these disruptions were temporary, something to be tolerated until the city returned to normal, a hope that was quickly lost as the strikes, or the disease, spread to the lungs of Paris, its factories. The city's rhythm was thoroughly disrupted. As Quattrocchi writes, Paris is jammed, one big, lovely traffic jam, which finally agglutinates into one metal body. In effect, this viral disease had managed to bring Paris to a complete stop. Unlike the authoritarian ideology of World War II, which Camus depicts as a malignant infection that isolates, threatens, and morally corrodes citizens, the revolutionary ideas of May 1968 spread like a contagion in Paris without being inherently harmful. These ideas energized, inspired, and provoked action, showing that the disease metaphor can describe the speed and intensity of the spread rather than the moral character behind the ideas or ideologies. Throughout history, Paris has been shaped by forces that move through it like diseases, disrupting its rhythms, challenging its structures, and testing the resilience of its citizens. In Camus's The Plague, we see ideology as a malignant contagion that isolates, corrupts, and threatens the moral core of the city. Ernaux's The Years reveals a subtler infection, the fever of consumerism, which slowly reshapes identity. Quattrocchi's experience of May 1968 demonstrates a kind of contagion, revolutionary energy that spreads explosively and shakes the city to its foundations, ultimately inspiring action instead of destruction. Together, these perspectives show Paris not as a static emblem of arts and culture, but as a living organism, constantly vulnerable to the diseases of history, society, and politics. Yet, even as these forces move through the city, they also reveal its resilience, the ability to absorb, respond, and regenerate. The metaphor of disease reminds us that change, whether destructive or revitalizing, spreads through cities like it does through living things, leaving lasting marks on both their physical bodies and their memories.